the cities work together. The only way that they do work together, which I have found and works pretty nice, I'll load up the next city so you can see it a little better. The railroads, when they interconnect, you can have one cluster connect to another cluster with railroads, which should help with workers, shoppers, I would assume tourists. It doesn't work the best, but this city right here is my residential slash educational city. We'll get more into that, but as you can see here, I've got a railroad that runs there we go, I got a little mixed up. It does run over into the next cluster over here, so it runs from Placer Vista over to Pelamento, and it should bring visitors, shoppers, workers, etc. in between. Now, because my Placer and my Calm Overlook are connected by rail as well, this city, and this city should all work together by railroad. So if I was moving anything by rail, they should work, in essence, should work together like that. It's really hard to figure out if they are. I've looked at it and it doesn't seem to work. Between these two cities, it does work, but between the cluster over, it's kind of iffy. Now, the gifting does work, which is quite weird. The shoppers and commuters I don't know. I mean, they kind of work and kind of don't, but gifting does. I was able to gift money from Placer Vista over to the Pelamento, and boom, instantly gifting happened. There was no wait time, no having to log out, no city swapping. It instantly happened. Now, sending money from one city to another in the same cluster, there's such a huge delay in it. You've got to sit like this. You pick your city, you pick the amount of, say, money you want to send, you click send gift, and then you sit and you wait. And you will see a little driver go from one city to the other to the city hall, and then he'll drive back, and then you've got to log or jump over to the other city and hope that it goes through. Otherwise, you've got to open this tab again in the other city, and I found you click the gift, you click the other city that you sent the money to, and you sit and you wait, and hopefully it gets sent through. Otherwise, you have to log out, log back in, do city jump, and it gets really annoying after a while. So the gifting is another bug. Sometimes works, sometimes doesn't. The gifting between clusters, as long as they're interconnected, seems to work almost immediately. There was no wait time. I was able to send money from one, I jumped to the other, I opened this tab back up again, so I got the gifting part, and boom, it was right there. There was no little driver going back and forth, so it did seem to work much quicker. I went into traffic already. University I've got going here. The university seems to work as it's supposed to. It functions, but an issue is with traffic. If you've got too much traffic, like you can see in this city, I've got massive amounts of traffic. Your students can't get to the school, and in turn, you can't get your student count up. I've been actually working on getting the last level, level 6, and I've gotten to, I believe it was 5,800, I think, total, but I can't get over that, and I've tried everything. So again, another foobar, at least for the moment. I've set rail up here. I've got another rail down here and over here. I've got the street, the park and ride, so the buses will come into here. I've gone to the extent of setting bus stops up all over. I've had them removed. I've tried everything I can think of, and it doesn't, seem to help too much. And once again, because of the traffic, you'll end up with buildings burning down, people dying, crimes happening. So, an issue. And the other issue with the schools, I will say, at least with university colleges, is people are supposed to, are supposed to actually commute from one city to another, and so far that does not happen. Once in a while, you might get a few stray. But if you're trying to make an actual city set strictly as your college town, your university, it's not going to work right now. You will get people that are in the town to go to it, but you're not going to get people from outside other cities to go to it. It isn't working. At least the numbers aren't showing. So if it's working and the numbers aren't showing up, that might be one thing. But I know when I've checked the other towns, they are still coming up as not educated. So they're not, at least the majority of them are not getting from one town to the other. Let me see here. What else can I talk about? Oh, services. If you're trying to make a city, like one city, be set up strictly for services like your water, your sewage, your recycling, garbage, etc., it works to a point. There is a cap on how much one city can deliver out to the surrounding cities. And it seems like it doesn't even matter if you put in massive amounts of utilities in the other city. Example I'll use is my connecting city over here, the Nugget Plateau, has 2 water pumps, 2 sewage treatment centers, and they are completely maxed out on their ploppables, on their extended, and I've got just a massive amount of sewage and water that should be coming from it. But this town was losing water and was having sewage issues. I ended up, which I did not want to do, I ended up having to pop down a water, the sewage plant and a water pump in this town. And as you can see, it's still maxed out, and I'm still getting the running dry. That's another thing. I've got, supply. I've gone to the trick of setting a treatment plant up, which I guess I can go on to since I'm talking about it right now. In order to keep an endless supply of water in your city and keep it from drying up, you basically have to set a sewage plant next to your water pump, or you're going to run out of water. Your water table will run dry, and your town will, once again, go to hell. You will not be able to supply your water. So you want to set your sewage and your water plants together, set a little road in between them, and basically what happens is as your sewage plant treats the sewage, it puts the clean water back into the ground, replenishing the water table, which your water pump can suck up and send back into the system, into the city. So I think that's as intended. I think that's what they meant to do. So it's not per se a bug. It can be annoying when you have to place stuff, but just a little thing there. Power, same issue. You can have massive amounts of power from one city, and you're trying to get it into the other, and it'll get to a point where there isn't enough. And it doesn't matter how much power you have in the other city, it caps out, so you're not going to be able to. And you'll end up having to put a small power plant or something into the other city. I've had that happen 50-50. I don't know the other cities if it's just they weren't big enough or not, but this city so far, as you can see, 280,000 fudged population. I don't have a power plant here. What I ended up doing is in my next town over, I've got 4 coal power plants, and they're maxed out with their ploppables, and I have a nuclear plant with all 4 additions as well, just to pop it out. And I mean, I'm pumping out like 2,000 milliwatts, and that seems to be the only way that this is at least functioning right now. So that can be an issue at times. Recycling is bugged out. If you make a recycling center in one city and you send it to pick up recycling from another city, it's going to bug out. Your material storage will get full. You won't be able to process anymore, and you won't be able to do anything with that recycling center. Some people have said destroy it and just build a new one, which can get expensive, and it seems like 3/4 of the time that does not work. So as a safety right now, recycling center, put it in each center if you wanted, each city if you want to do it. Garbage, on the other hand, does work, which is nice because your sims, especially your medium and high well sims, will complain about garbage. So having the ability, I've got one here. It's only got, well, I guess I got 12 in there, but originally my other city, once you get to a point where your population gets so high, your trucks from the other city just can't keep up. So I went ahead and put one here. But overall, it did work for the majority of the time. The sims weren't complaining. It might also be traffic is what was giving me the issue. so they weren't able to get in. As you can see, my traffic coming into the city is just ungodly backed up. And like I said, I've tried doing things to alleviate it. I've put bus stops, I've taken turns off, and they're still just getting backed up. So hopefully that'll be fixed in an upcoming patch. But for now, you gotta try to do little tips and tricks. There are lots of people out there who have actually figured out little tricks and stuff to get it to work. So this was just one of them I was playing with, and so I'm not too concerned with. But there are ways to kind of get around the issues. Having a good amount of transportation makes a difference. As you can see, my train depot down here gets hammered, 6,700 a day. That is why I actually put in more train depots in here, but it didn't seem to alleviate it too much there still. But I've got such a huge fudged number of my population, so there are a couple of the bugs here. I'm going to go into the city here, the city hall. In case you didn't know, the ploppables, as they're called, if you have them in the region, you don't have to put them down again in another city. If you have all these already down in another city in your region, it will allow it to be shared with each and every city in the region, so you don't have to keep spending 15,000 every time. As you can see, I've got, well, I put 3 in this one, and if you do it right, you can put it in each city, and you don't have to max out that population, because you get new ploppables per population increase, and they're at intervals. So I had 3 cities. Each city took on a couple of that, so I added some population to each city. It allowed me to get that up, and because between these 3 cities I was able to get it, the whole rest of the region here will not have to worry about it. As soon as I set up a city, put a city hall down, I will have access to them beneficial plops, you know, like the transportation, the utilities. You know, I can put buses anywhere. I can put sewage plants anywhere. I can adjust tax rates in any city as well. So it's a nice thing. It's not. You don't have to go in each and every town, and put down the city hall. Right now, electronics seem to be the way to go. An electronics type city. They make massive amounts of simoleons. They're so easy to set up, and they make so much money. There are tutorials online in the EA forums on YouTube you can check out. But as you can see, this city, I've got mines all over the place, and I've got my processing factories for my computers, for my processors, TVs. I got trade depots. This city is basically was supposed to be my high-tech, and the only high-tech thing I have is these 4 buildings. And, well, I guess I've got a couple smaller ones there, and then this is some residential up in this area. Other than that, this is a pure, you know, and when you look down here, you see I've got 40 million, and I am bringing in almost 5. I've actually had this up to 6.5 million a month in monthly transactions, and it's once you get it started, you just bring in a buttload of simoleons every day, and that's how I was able to support the rest of my region that I started up in my other cities, is because I was bringing in so much money here I could just gift it over. So I'm sure that will be adjusted in time, because they don't want you to do that. But another bug right now, since I'm in here, is the trade ports. Sometimes they will just straight up stop working on you. You'll have them functioning, and literally they'll fill up, and just for no reason whatsoever. Oh, looky, disaster. Yeah, let's go ahead and destroy my city. That can be an annoyance too. They haven't hit me as hard as they have some other people. Some other people said they'll go away, and then literally minutes later they'll be back, and they just get bombarded. As you can see, some of my stuff gets destroyed and some doesn't. It seems to be, I don't know if it's just been luck or not, but like right here, I lost one mine. It's not even the main mine itself, it's simply the add-on, the shaft. And it's cheap. I just destroy it and I'll add another one on and boom, be good to go. Not a big deal, you know. And the buildings, yes, can be a little bit harder because you've got to destroy a bunch of residential, but it seems like the main ploppable buildings you put down don't get destroyed. I could be wrong, but so far out of all the disasters, and I've had a shit ton of them, it doesn't destroy them. So so far it seems pretty good. So but anyways, back on to the trade bug. Eventually it will just bug out and you won't be able to send anything else out. I had another city where it completely bugged and I destroyed them, rebuilt them, shut them off, turned them on, added vehicles, destroyed the individual the storage areas. Nothing worked. It just completely foobarred the city. So an issue. Hopefully, I think they're working on it. So and again, traffic affects how much of your storage stuff can go out. So you got to kind of be mindful of your storage, where they're located, from your buildings, from the main exit, from your residential, from other areas that can back up. So the trade ports, so far, I have not been able to get my rail section to work. The freight rail, I've not seen a single train come in, but I also haven't seen a single train come in from my passenger station either. It keeps having an issue saying it's not connected. I can't connect anything. It goes straight out to the residential, right out into this main region area. The only thing I could assume is because it goes to a dead-end part. It takes it literally out of the region instead of connecting to any other cities. So I'm not sure if that's a reason why. But just be mindful that if you put it on, it may or may not work. The train depot doesn't work here. It works fine in my other two cities. So be mindful of that. As I said earlier in the video, as you can see, I've got 3 coal and I've got 1 nuke. So nuclear plant, and it still doesn't supply. I've got 2 water, 2 sewage, still not enough. So it's buggy. It doesn't work as it's supposed to. The HQs seem to work as they should. I've got 2 of these fully upgraded and the other one working on the last upgrade. They seem to work pretty good as long as you're getting your trade stuff going out.